Godzilla!
It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not.
Still, we should run like it is Godzilla!
Though it isn't.
Elder dragons. Glorious creatures with almost godlike power steeped in mystery. For as long as we've known about these creatures, there is surprisingly little we do know about them, due to them normally being incredibly rare sights and usually too violent to approach under normal circumstances. And with the power they possess, getting near them would normally be a death sentence. But one thing we have discovered is that every 10 years, elder dragons have been documented migrating from the mainland of the old world to the island we've come to know as the New World. Thinking this would be a rare opportunity to find out more about these amazing animals, the guild organized the commission and launched the first fleet to the New World, for the purpose of establishing a settlement in this new and strange land, as well as to find the reason for the Elder Dragon migration, now known as the Elder Crossing. The seas were much higher and more treacherous back then, and the first fleet was nearly swallowed by the sea. But luckily, a huge tidal wave caused them to crash onto the shore on some rocks. So they just built a city on the rocks around their ship and called it Astera. And like how a new wave of Elder Dragons came with each decade, the Commission sent a request for a new fleet to aid them every 10 years. Mostly because the first fleet was grossly unprepared. The second fleet consisted mostly of engineers and technicians, specifically 3 engineers to every 2 hunters, because the first fleet thought they could get by with 2 engineers. The third fleet is composed of 99% scholars and researchers who eventually left Astera in a great flying airship that is the research base, but has since been brought down by a Legiana and stuck in the Great Ravine. The fourth fleet is the Human Resources Department, who manage our resources and materials, as well as coming up with the idea of pairing hunters with handlers. Then, somewhere along the line, they remembered, oh crap, we need hunters! And so they sent for the 5th fleet, the largest fleet yet, mostly made up of hunters. And the newest Elder Dragon to make the crossing was the absolute titan known as Zorah Magdaros, an enormous turtle with a shell on its back that is a literal volcano. Unfortunately, the 5th fleet arrived a little too close to the same time as Zorah, which caused a bit of an overlap, in which the boat got stuck on Zorah's back, nearly killed all the humans on board, and did get my cat killed. Thankfully, everyone survived and the boat fell off Zorah's back just fine, but this caused us to lose track of the beast as it mostly traveled underground, though we would find a handful of burning rocks that came off the monster. So, the commander decided that, in order to find the answers to the Elder Crossing, that we would set up a massive siege event in order to capture Zorah Magdaros. A legendary feat, considering no Elder Dragon of any kind, even ones as small as a Kirin, have ever been captured before. So let's start with one the size of a freaking mountain! And so, we went to work on a 2-pronged assault, weakening Zorah Magdaros with fire from heavy artillery before restraining it with binders to slow it down and going on its back to deal greater damage and bring the beast to heel. Things were actually going rather well before an unexpected guest came and decided they didn't like what we were doing.
No, stop! What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yes, as it turns out, Nergigante had also been on the trail of Zorah Magdaros for some time. As I've stated before, the Elder Dragons, while immensely powerful, are still animals. They are born, they grow, they age, they mate, and rear their own young, and eventually, like everything else, they too grow old and must pass on. So Nergigante is aware that this Zorah Magdaros is on its last legs of life and is intent to follow it until it passes on. For while Nergigante is, of course, a more than capable predator, it will not pass up the chance to scavenge the corpse of a dead monster. Because at 845 feet in length, a Zorah Magdaros would keep a Nergigante fed for a very long time. So, thanks to good old Hedgehog Dragon, Zorah managed to escape. And while we were unsuccessful in picking its trail back up, thankfully we were able to ask the first Wyverians that called this place home long before our arrival about the beast's location, and they agreed to tell us. After forcing me to fight a Rathalos and a Diablos. And after putting a bit more investigation into the new world, we discovered the land of decay that is the Rotten Vale, and came to the conclusion that the Vale is actually a final resting place for monsters. They sense the end of their time in this world is near and make their way to the Vale to die, Elder Dragons included. And specifically, the release of the massive amount of bioenergy contained by an Elder Dragon is enough to cause the creation of an entirely new ecosystem like the Coral Highlands. And it was revealed that Zorah had somehow been lured away from the Rotten Vale and had gotten lost in the Everstream, a massive underground river that runs underneath the entire New World and the focal point of the island's bioenergy, almost like the very heart of the world. And this was a problem, as even a normal Elder Dragon has bioenergy off the charts, so an absolutely massive one like Zorah would be unfathomable. So a release of this level of energy in the heart of the New World would essentially overload the Everstream and destroy the entire New World. So, with no time to evacuate and most of the crew insisting we stay and fight, we came up with a separate plan. We took every last remaining resource we had and set up a second siege in the Everstream. And against all odds, we did it. Even with Nergigante trying to mess things up again, we still managed to drive off Zorah Magdaros, sending it away from the Everstream and out into the deep sea. And at some point, it must have reached the end of its time here on Earth, because a venture into the Rotten Vale biome of the Guiding Lands reveals the skull of a Zorah Magdaros, meaning our fallen adversary was indeed able to create an entirely new island absolutely teeming with life from every region possible. Truly a wonder of the natural world. So, after all that, you may be wondering how exactly you kill a Zorah Magdaros, then.
That's the neat thing. You don't.
There has never been any confirmed record of anyone killing a Zorah Magdaros. There are rumors that one was killed in an epic siege in the Frost Islands near Kamura Village, the beast facing off against a mighty dragon ship, but this is not confirmed, as there were reportedly no survivors. All that's there now is a wrecked dragon ship and the unidentifiable bones of a giant dragon. And while Zorah is indeed giant, it is not the only one. So until further findings are gathered, this leaves Zorah Magdaros as the only creature that has never been slain by humans. Even the likes of Delamadur and Laviente, who dwarf even Zorah, have still been slain by hunters. And even the one known as the god of all monsters, Fatalis, has been felled by humans, but not Zorah Magdaros. Even our strongest siege weapons only gave it pause. It is simply too massive and too well armored with a mountain for a turtle shell. Humanity may well be incapable of killing it. So, it is very lucky for us then that Zorah Magdaros is a very passive monster, ignoring humans as if we were little more than ants beneath its feet, only actively fighting against us when we put giant barricades in its path. Still, there are still times when humanity must face off against this massive creature. Because it seems like Zorah Magdaros winds up back in the Everstream once a month. It's ridiculous! When this happens, we face the beast in a two-stage assault. First, hunters are dropped onto the beast's shell in order to destroy 4 magma cores, large rocks on its body that store large amounts of molten rock inside them. 1 is located roughly on Zorah's lower back, 2 are found within the depths of Zorah's shell, which is thankfully not filled with lava like a real volcano, and the last one is a horn located on Zorah's nose, which is more than 800 feet in the air. And destroying these magma cores usually causes Zorah to reel violently in pain. So you could see how being that high up in the air with nothing to secure you in place could be rather hazardous. And there are also rock spires rigged with explosives to be hit with slinger ammo to bring them down on Zorah. Now, thankfully, Zorah cannot reach these magma cores and therefore cannot attack you. But unfortunately, that does not mean the magma cores are safe, as once they start to take damage, the rock splits apart and bursts of lava will shoot forth from the slag. And lava is definitely not something you want shot on you. That is bound to cause a lot of discomfort, or, death. And then, of course, a Nergigante somehow always knows of a Zorah's location, so one will always show up to try and foil the siege, forcing you to abandon your battle with the magma cores and engage with an Elder Dragon powerful enough to eat other Elders. And this is when Zorah finally takes notice of invaders and tries to blast Nergi with massive globs of lava from its mouth. And since you'll be fighting Nergigante, you'll probably be within the splash zone. And this is all in an attempt to weaken and slow Zorah down enough for siege weaponry to cause Zorah pain and force it out to sea and away from the Everstream. Similar to a swarm of biting and stinging insects. It's probably not going to kill you, but you're not going to want to sit around and endure that. But this barricade is all that stands between Zorah and the destruction of the new world. So you cannot let it be destroyed. Which is a problem because Zorah can unleash massive fireballs from its mouth as well as lava, capable of destroying the barrier with 3 shots at most. And trust me when I say, the burns that come from the magma cores are nothing compared to the burns from his mouth. Now, you may not think that's impressive, destroying a wooden barrier with 3 fireballs, but it's important to remember, Elder Dragons come to the New World to die. So this Zorah is on its absolute last legs of life, only days away from death. Possibly even hours. So if it can still destroy a massive barrier with 3 fireballs, just imagine what it can do in its prime. That and all the punishment we delivered upon it, even multiple hits from a Dragonator, one of the strongest weapons available, only managed to irritate the monster into leaving us alone. If it had decided to simply stay and fight to its last breath, who knows how poorly things could have ended. Oh, and it's also got a small army of Mernos flying around to attack people and distract us. But despite the absolute devastation it can cause, this is only one situation where Zorah becomes a danger to an entire island. On normal circumstances, even Zorah Magdaros has an important niche to fill in the world, as by constantly exuding lava as it moves through the lands, it creates fertile soil for rich plant life to grow, and when moving across the ocean, it can even lay the groundwork for new islands made from its lava. And when it finally gives its life, its very body becomes a new island for endless possibilities for new life to spring forth. Truly, the circle of life is a miraculous cycle, and there is no limit to the potential for new life that can come from the end of life. So there you have it, ladies and swordsmen. That is my lore on Zorah Magdaros. A really cool creature. Its design and the sheer scale of it, and the fact that, you know, it almost destroyed the new world is just awesome. Yes, we all know that its fight is a bit boring, but like I said, everything else about it you cannot deny is just an absolute spectacle. And the fact that it would come back as the guiding lands is just unfathomable to me. It's just that incredible. All in all, I find Zorah to be very enjoyable as long as we're not talking about its fight. And yes, for all that are wondering, this is what I do in my audio recordings for when I record the dialogue I speak in these videos. It's just the actual video part of the audio videos is just my character dancing. So if you've ever wondered, there's your answer. So next time I have a big surprise, because thanks to a good friend of mine, Manzak11 has allowed me to use his footage for my lore videos, and I'll be able to record lores for monsters in Rise. And shortly enough, I hope to get my own Switch and Generations Ultimate, so I'll be able to record for things like Catchawacha. But for next time, we'll be talking about Great Izuchi. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. And again, huge thanks to Manzak11 for allowing me to do that. You know, go check him out. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. So that's what's coming next time. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this and want to see more, go ahead and slash that subscribe button. If you like this video, give a quick cut to the like button. Leave a comment down below, share it around with all your friends, be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss it when I upload a video, and be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Then I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, my people, stay sharp.